welcome from me, David, at Painter and Decorator York, and today we're going to talk, I'm going to talk about how much painters and decorators actually earn in the real world. Okay, first of all, and you'll be shocked, really shocked when you get to what I'm going to tell you towards the end of this video, but first of all, going back to when I first started, back in 1979, yes, I know, everybody says I don't look that old, but I started when I was 2. So anyway, back in 1979, my first weekly wage packet, when you used to get in the little brown envelopes mean a little bit different today. Okay, I had £16 and something, and I spent it all on beer anyway, so it didn't really matter. So, moving on, what do they actually earn now? Well, if somebody is actually self-employed, and this video is really for anybody who's thinking, is it the trade for me? Do I want my son or daughter to go into this? Because there is a real need for tradespeople. Tradespeople are declining. There's lots of work out there. So, somebody now who goes in and who isn't, say, self-employed, like myself, or all these that work for themselves, there's a lot of painters and decorators out there, mainly self-employed. You would expect to be earning, if you're reasonable at your job, even better if you're good at your job, you'll be earning 30 to 35,000 for the year, which I know in many terms that's not seen as a great deal of money, but I think it's a reasonable level, and to be fair, it's a job that gives great satisfaction. Going into a house or a room, you paint that room, you can look at it and think how fantastic that looks. It's not always about how much money you can earn. Well, I think it never is, to be honest. You've got to get job satisfaction. Now, okay, you may be an electrician, you go in there and do that job and you'll earn considerably more. And they do. Don't get me wrong, it's a more technical job, but I couldn't stand back and look at sockets that I fitted and think, wow, that's great. But each to their own. Anyway, they get paid more for it, so maybe it's the dissatisfaction level. I don't know if that's the right word to use for it. Anyway, so that's for self-employed. Now, if there's somebody that's working for one of the companies, the larger companies, it tends to be that take on decorators, painter and decorators. You can be working and earning, I've looked all the figures up because there's the data out there, earning between 18 to 25,000. I suppose the advantages with this is that you've no times when if there's a slack period, you're still going to get paid, you're employed, you've got work to do. They'll always find you work. So, that's one of the fallbacks and the comfort zones that people get in. And it's quite difficult sometimes when somebody's with a company and it's very safe, they're getting paid the money week in, week out. When do you make that step over to earn not a huge amount more? But I personally feel the satisfaction you get from being in control of your own destiny is really worth it. But that's my opinion. We're all different, as I always say. Okay, the next is really some of the ones that do the painting and decorating as part of another thing that they do. Now, there's lots of odd job men and women do go out and they'll do anything from fitting a cupboard together to painting and decorating. I'm not saying they're all bad at painting and decorating. Some are atrocious. I know that. I've seen the results. I've gone up to rectify the results. But we know some good ones, and they won't touch the painting and decorating simply because they know themselves the limitations. But some of these will work for £10, £11 an hour. And it's the same for those that work in big places such as hotels, where they actually have in-house decorators constantly going around decorating all these rooms. They will pay them around £12 an hour. Again, not satisfying, but it's that regular income. You're going to be paid week in, week out. And I think that is the challenge that many of us face when we're employed, is when do we make that step? You've just got to make it, as simple as that. Now, onto the top earners. because that 30 to 35 I think is reasonable, but there's some that earn considerably more. Obviously I'm talking about around in the north of England. Around London you'll earn much more. And if you work in the new builds, the new build housing estates, you can earn anything up to 50 plus, no problem. The downside to me is that there isn't the satisfaction there, because house builders tend to really screw you down on the amount they pay you. So to actually earn, you go really fast. You don't take that much care. You can't, because you want to earn the money. You go and do house bashing, as they call it in the trade, to earn money, nothing more. It's not job satisfaction. And that goes for plasterers, electric, all of them. They're just doing it as fast as they can, and a lot of the times the crap jobs, and that's why there's have a snagging list, and usually some of the snagging lists are horrendous. So that's the joys of buying a new home. But you can earn a lot of money if you're a painter and decorator, and you join that. That's up to you. So, but I always say, before I finish off, is, I refer back to that quote from the person when they were asked, are you rich? And they says, well, I'm rich in life, but, money does not make you rich. And it's so true. It really doesn't. Money doesn't buy you everything. It really doesn't. The singer was Bob Marley, by the way, one of my favourites, but there you go. Money didn't bother him. He enjoyed his life. Unfortunately, it was a shorter life. So on that note, I feel like singing one of his songs. Get me a guitar, but I won't. No. Okay, thank you for watching. From me, David, at Painter and Decorator York. I will see you in the next video, and I think I'm going to do a DIY one and show you something, starting off with the real basics of how to paint and use the tools that we have to help us. Okay, thank you. Bye bye now.